The 1960s sitcom scene. It wasn't all sunshine and perfectly timed punchlines. For many stars of shows like Bewitched and I Dream of Jeannie, fame was a double-edged sword, bringing incredible opportunities alongside personal struggles that often played out far from the cameras. Some soared to even greater heights, while others faced heartbreak, loss, and the challenge of shaking off their iconic roles. Let's take a look at how some of the biggest sitcom stars of the 60s navigated life after the studio lights dimmed, and what lessons we can learn from their journeys. Barbara Eden, I Dream of Jeannie. Remember I Dream of Jeannie? Who could forget Barbara Eden as Jeannie, the bubbly 2,000-year-old Jeannie? From 1965 to 1970, she captivated audiences for 5 seasons, and her portrayal remains iconic to this day. Eden herself has said she felt incredibly lucky to land such a career-defining role. The part cemented her status as a star, leading to roles in over 25 films, 19 TV movies, and 5 TV series. She even played Mrs. Claus in the 2019 Christmas movie, My Adventures with Santa. But while her career flourished, her personal life faced significant challenges. Eden married Michael and Sarah in 1958, and they had a son, Matthew, in 1965. They divorced in 1974. She then married Charles Fegert in 1977, but that marriage ended in 1982. Finally, she found lasting love with John Eichholz in 1991. Tragically, in 2001, her only son, Matthew, died of a heroin overdose after battling substance abuse for years. In a candid 2021 interview with People, Eden shared, "When Matthew was clean and sober, he was such a beautiful human being inside and out. Drugs are inexplicable. It's so frustrating." She described the early signs, saying, "At first we didn't recognize the behavior, the sleeping, and the bouts of anger that would come up all of a sudden with this charming, darling boy. I was scared to death. I didn't know what to do. He was too young to know he needed rehab or help. It's a wonder that he lived to be 35. Eden has spoken openly about the profound grief she experienced. "I don't think there's anything worse than to lose your child," she said. "As a parent, I had a lot of guilt and anger, and following his death, I was always on the edge of tears. Even though he was 35, he was still my baby." But here's where it gets controversial. Eden channeled her personal tragedy into advocacy, working to help other parents facing similar challenges. She began speaking with parents who were going through the same thing, emphasizing the importance of being strict and aware of what's happening in their children's lives. While acknowledging that ultimately the choice is up to the individual struggling with addiction, she stresses that hope is always possible. It's a testament to her strength and compassion that she turned her pain into a lifeline for others. Did her openness help destigmatize conversations around addiction and grief? Elizabeth Montgomery, Bewitched. Another iconic sitcom from the era was Bewitched, starring Elizabeth Montgomery as Samantha Stevens, a witch trying to live a normal suburban life with her mortal husband. Who didn't try to twitch their nose like Samantha? The show ran for 8 seasons, 1964 to 1972. Earning Montgomery 5 Emmy nominations and 4 Golden Globe nominations. Not bad for a series about a magical housewife. After Bewitched, Montgomery intentionally sought out dramatic roles to avoid being typecast. She starred in the 1975 TV movie The Legend of Lizzie Borden, took on Broadway roles, appeared in Japanese confectionery commercials, yes, really, and starred in a prestige miniseries. She successfully broke free from the sitcom mold, proving her versatility as an actress. Her personal life, however, was far from serene. She married 4 times. Her first marriage, to Frederick Gallatin Cammon in 1954, lasted less than a year. She then married actor Gig Young, who won an Oscar in 1969, from 1956 to 1963. Her third marriage, to director William Asher, from 1963 to 1973, produced 3 children, William, Robert, and Rebecca. During the 8th season of Bewitched, she had an affair with director Richard Michaels, who was also married at the time. This affair led to the end of both Bewitched and their respective marriages. They moved in together in 1972, but the relationship ended within 3 years. Montgomery finally found lasting love with actor Robert Foxworth, with whom she lived for over 20 years before marrying in 1993. In 1995, while filming Deadline for Murder from the Files of Edna Buchanan, Montgomery experienced flu-like symptoms. After downplaying her illness for months, she finally saw a doctor and was diagnosed with colon cancer that had metastasized to her liver. Tragically, she died 8 weeks later, at the age of 62, surrounded by her husband and children. But Elizabeth Montgomery's legacy extends beyond her on-screen work. She was a tireless activist who championed animal rights, women's rights, and gay rights. She was also a vocal opponent of the Vietnam War, advocated for AIDS research, and worked to support disabled people. She was ahead of her time, using her platform to advocate for those less privileged. How much did her activism influence her fans? Sally Field, Gidget. Before becoming a highly respected and beloved actress, Sally Field began her career playing a boy-crazy surfer girl on Gidget, 1965 to 1966. Although the series was canceled after 1 season, the network recognized her talent and cast her in The Flying Nun in 1967. However, she quickly became typecast as a perky, wholesome, and somewhat unserious young star, a perception she was determined to change. Her breakthrough came with her role in the 1976 TV movie Sybil, for which she won an Emmy Award, proving that she was far more than just a former child star. Throughout her career, Sally Field has earned 2 Oscars, 2 Golden Globes, 3 Emmys, and a Tony nomination, putting her just 1 award away from achieving EGOT status. Like many of her 60s sitcom peers, her personal life has been eventful. She endured abuse from her stepfather during her teenage years. She married Stephen Craig in 1968, and they had 2 sons, Peter and Eli, who both work in the film industry. They divorced in 1975. She also had a tumultuous relationship with Burt Reynolds, with who she starred in 4 films, Smokey and the Bandit, Smokey and the Bandit 2, The End, and Hooper. They split dramatically in 1980 and dated on and off until 1982. And this is the part most people miss. Their relationship was reportedly quite volatile, with conflicting accounts of what actually transpired behind the scenes. Field married her second husband, Alan Greisman, in 1984, and they had a son, Sam, in 1987. They divorced in 1994. And Field has remained unmarried since. In a 2024 interview on the Wiser Than Me with Julia Louis-Dreyfus podcast, she explained why she had not had successful relationships, saying, "Several people that I was dating or around would say, 'Why can't you treat me the way you treat your sons?' 'Because you're not my son,' she added. 'I've just never been good at picking a person, a partner, to be with who would be loving and know me, and not want to change me and also be challenging to me.' Instead, she has focused her energy on activism. She has been a staunch advocate for women's rights, gay rights, and abortion access, and has been vocal about climate change for many years. In 2019, Field was arrested while supporting Jane Fonda's climate change protests in Washington, D.C., demonstrating her willingness to stand up for her beliefs. Did her willingness to be arrested for her beliefs enhance or detract from her image as an actress? Eva Gabor, Green Acres. Eva Gabor was arguably the most glamorous woman on television during her time on Green Acres, 1965 to 1971. She played Lisa Douglas, the sophisticated wife of Oliver Wendell Douglas, Eddie Albert, who reluctantly moves to a rural farm. Despite her initial reluctance, Lisa managed to bring a touch of elegance to every scene. Born into Budapest high society, Gabor was a well-known socialite, and even had her own talk show in the 1950s. Her older sisters, Zsa and Magda Gabor, were also socialites and actresses. After Green Acres, Gabor transitioned into voice acting, lending her voice to Disney's The Aristocats, 1970, The Rescuers, 1977, and The Rescuers Down Under, 1990. She also launched her own clothing, wig, and beauty brand in 1972, showcasing her business acumen. Her romantic life was certainly eventful. She married 5 times. First to Eric Valdemar Drimmer in 1937, divorced in 1942. Then to Charles Isaacs in 1943, divorced in 1949. Followed by John Elbert Williams in 1956, divorced in 1957. Her 4th marriage, to Richard Brown in 1959, lasted almost 14 years, divorced in 1973. Finally, she married Frank Gard Jameson Sr. in 1973 and was a loving stepmother to his 4 children until their divorce in 1983. Hollywood lost Gabor in 1995 when she died from respiratory failure due to pneumonia. She left behind a legacy of wit, glamour, and sophistication that was unique in the world of sitcoms. Was her on-screen persona a reflection of her real-life personality, or was it a carefully crafted image? Nancy Culp, The Beverly Hillbillies. Nancy Culp played Jane Hathaway, the bird-watching spinster in The Beverly Hillbillies, one of the most popular sitcoms of the 1960s. The series ran for 9 seasons, 1962 to 1971, making Culp a household name and earning her an Emmy nomination. After the show ended, she took on roles in various TV shows, including Chips and The Love Boat, and reprised her role as Jane in the 1981 TV movie Return of the Beverly Hillbillies. In 1984, she entered politics, running as the Democratic nominee for the House of Representatives for Pennsylvania. In a surprising turn of events, her former Hillbillies co-star Buddy Ebsen, a staunch Republican, decided to run against her. Culp was reportedly outraged. She said in an interview that Ebsen was not the kindly old Jed Clampett that you saw on the show. It's none of his business, and he should have stayed out of it. She added that while she didn't get along because I found him difficult to work with, she never would have done something like this to him. She lost the election, but continued to be active in her community, teaching at a liberal arts college in Pennsylvania and working as an activist for the Humane Society of the Desert Theater League, and United Cerebral Palsy. Culp married Charles Malcolm Dacus in 1951, but they divorced a decade later. She was diagnosed with cancer in 1990 and died from the disease in 1991 at the age of 69. While she may not have won a seat in Congress, she remains a beloved figure in pop culture. Was Ebsen's decision to run against her a legitimate expression of political views or a betrayal of their professional relationship? Dawn Wells, Gilligan's Island. Dawn Wells captured hearts as Mary Ann Summers in Gilligan's Island, the girl next door stranded with a group of tourists. Originally a ballerina, she switched paths after winning Miss Nevada in 1959 and competing in Miss America in 1960, which led her to Hollywood. Gilligan's Island was her first major acting role, and she reprised the role in various reunions over the years. Mary Ann wasn't just a silly and sweet ingenue. Wells wrote in her 2014 book, What Would Mary Ann Do? A Guide to Life. She was bright, fair-minded, and reasonable, and I like to think that's what I brought to her. She was a little more of a goody two-shoes than I am. Wells later guest starred on shows like The Love Boat, Alf, and Baywatch, while also running her clothing line for disabled people. Her personal life was less idyllic. She was married to talent agent Larry Rosen from 1962 until their divorce in 1967. During the 2008 recession, Wells faced financial difficulties, accumulating almost $200,000 in medical bills. A friend, Doug Kirkpatrick, launched a fundraiser in 2018 to help her. She was very upset with me, probably still is a little upset with me because she's a little bit embarrassed, he told People at the time. But being her dearest friend, I know that this is the best thing. Sadly, Wells died in 2020 at the age of 82 due to complications from COVID-19. To fans, she will always be Mary Ann, the heart of one of the most popular sitcoms of all time. Does the public have a responsibility to support celebrities who encounter financial difficulties later in life? Especially those who brought joy to millions?